Hello and welcome to Bendy, a podcast about being flexible and all the ways that means. Thanks for joining us. My name is Andy Young and I'm one of your mobile itinerant hosts. Joining me as always is our other mobile and itinerant host, Beth Martin. Beth, a pleasure as always. What's the crack?
So itinerant isn't like itinerary? I've never heard that word.
It's kind of like if you're traveling from place to place, you're itinerant.
Oh.
And I practiced that earlier because it's a word that I do struggle with, or I like drop whole sections of it when I'm saying it, and I was like, oh, said it right, practice it a few times, then of course, on the pod, faceplant. Unsurprisingly.
I love that you practice the words ahead of time.
Right? I mean, that's the only thing I've practiced, but you know.
Right. So we haven't talked, we haven't seen each other in 2 weeks.
Yes, that's true.
That's probably almost the longest we've ever gone, and like since we've been potting. So, we have a lot to talk about.
Yeah. We do indeed have a lot to talk about.
So, of course, I will start with my crow update.
Of course, naturally.
So, I got birdseed. You know, I'm learning things. And I guess they don't like little seed. They like big seed. So, I fed all the birds in the neighborhood. School is now out. Okay. So, all of the crows have been hanging in our backyard. Like 50 of them. So, I got them all peanuts. And that's because that's what they like to eat, apparently. But then the blue jays moved in, and I don't know. I guess I'm becoming something I never thought I would be, Andy. Mm-hmm. I'm becoming like a bird watcher.
I mean, like, you know, why not? Absolutely, why not? It's a fine thing to be.
It is.
And like,
it's like, is it one of those things that happens with age, right? Like, marathons, bird watching.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, am I
getting old?
Like, yes, but we all are. Yes. But here's the good news. I think the important thing. I remember having a discussion about this recently, and it's like it's the people that like continue having interests and things like that. Yes. That like, you know, their brains stay fresh and they're constantly trying to learn new things, or they're trying to like, you know, follow different paths. So like, it's grand, and anybody that tells you otherwise can shut the hell up, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. Well, I've got a lot of cool birds in the yard now, so.
Hell yeah. Nothing wrong with
that at all. No crow will talk to me. That's okay.
But I mean, like,
the blue jays,
you know, you were away a while. Maybe they, you know, get slightly fell out with you because you abandoned them for a bit.
Yep.
So continue talking about birds, because I have some new bird information, which is, have you heard of a website called eBird?
eBird? No.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you need to check out eBird.
Okay. Writing it down.
And obviously you know about Merlin Bird ID. We've talked about that before. Yes. I'm pretty sure.
Is that the app?
Cool. Yes, it is. Okay. Yeah. I think there might be an eBird app as well. This is all fairly fresh news to me, but eBird's quite cool as well. Basically, we had a chat with somebody who ran a bird sanctuary, and they told us about that. They're like, "Do you know about eBird?" And it's like, no. Like, right, that's the next. You have to get on that. I'm like, okay.
Awesome.
So yeah,
Mike's out of town. No surprise. Mm-hmm. So he's out of town for 2 weeks. He comes home for 2 days, and then he goes out of town for somewhere between a week to 2 weeks. So I'm just doing that.
Diving, yeah, I'm presuming. Nice.
Yeah, that'll be the second trip. So he gets to go to lovely Bodega Bay in Sonoma.
Oh, wow.
I know. Nothing too exciting, but yeah.
Still lovely. I love it.
How are you?
Yeah, good. I was telling the best just before we started recording here.
You just flew back in like.
Yeah, like I arrived back in this time yesterday, so I'm still, you know, I mean, this direction is always tough because I tend to like lose a night's sleep going this way, and so it's very strange, and then also, you know, I'm back home and I'm like, yeah, like, and you know, I think everybody to an extent is a homebody and likes having their own space, and I do get that, but I'm also kind of like, I wish I was still on holiday in a lot of ways,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
forever,
Yeah.
basically.
Yes.
So, you know, but yes, but still sort of recovering from that, but definitely feeling better than I was. Certainly, had we recorded this time or this morning, it would have been a very different story,
Okay.
or worse, yesterday that would have been disastrous. But yeah, but it was an excellent time and it was great fun.
We'll get into that.
I
have so many questions.
Yes, so we're going to get into the topic. The one thing I wanted to chat to you about, which was, I have started reading Entangled Life, which I think I might have mentioned to you before.
Entangled Life?
Entangled Life.
Life.
Which is a book about mushrooms, essentially.
Oh, okay.
So unlike...
Yes.
I think I'm pretty sure we've talked about it in the pod before, but it's basically... it's about what mushrooms are. This guy, he kind of did, I think it's Mervyn or can't remember, something Sheldrake anyway, Mervyn Sheldrake or something like that, or Melvin Sheldrake, and he basically he focused on mushrooms in his studies and just found out how little we know about them, and it's going down the path of how they work, how they cooperate with plant life. It's kind of giving me revelations that I previously only got in, like, you know, physics books and things like that I have read, and I'm really finding it really interesting and expansive and such a fascinating subject. The sort of subject that,
what have you learned?
like, in his own telling, he's like, it looking into this has made him rewire how he thinks about things frequently. Just going in with expectations is just pointless because it completely rewrites the rule book, so it's very interesting.
Okay, I'm writing that down too. eBird and Entanglement or Entangled?
Yeah, that's it. Entangled Life.
Entangled.
I hope I'm getting that right. I'm getting it right.
You are.
I am.
And if not, we'll figure it out.
Oh, he's Merlin Sheldrake, even better.
I love it. I'm like,
right?
Of course his name is Merlin.
Of course it is.
He's magical.
He is magical. He's definitely magical. Okay, so we've done a wee bit of crack. I mean, most of the crack's going to be in the bulk of our episode because we're going to have a wee catch up. Because we both had interesting holiday experiences, I think in very different ways.
Yes.
And we thought it would be fun to have a chat about these things. So before we move on to that, Beth, do you have any what's occurring for us?
I do. A couple weeks ago, well, a month ago, I don't know if you remember, but I was like, oh my God, you're wearing a tank top and I can see your arms.
Oh, yeah.
Other people commented. They were like, look at Andy's.
Oh, really?
Yes.
What did other people comment?
Something about, like, did you wear the tank top in, like, the false summer that you had in May or something?
Oh, absolutely, I did, yeah. I mean, like, yes, but also... like, I was teaching a yoga class just after the record, and I was literally going to be shooting out the door, so that was the main reason it was happening.
Doesn't matter.
It's good. It's so true.
Just
like,
wear a tank top.
Know,
people they like it. Give the people what they want.
That's fair. I have bought more when I was away, so I was gonna pop them on a more frequent, or just like rip the sleeves off all my t-shirts.
Yeah. Yes.
A little bit of both, right?
Yeah, it could be like version of Hulk Hogan, but it'll just be the same.
Yes, exactly. Oh, God, if there's anybody you're going to aspire to be, it's not Hulk Hogan.
I know, right?
Yeah, not a chill dude. Anyway, so yeah, that's good. Okay, well, I'm gonna take that feedback and I'll maybe wear fewer sleeves, but let's see how it goes.
Okay.
I will not be objectified though. Fans of the pod. Okay. No matter how hard you try.
That's fair.
I mean, alright, maybe a little bit of objectification as a treat. Okay. So, shall we move on to our topic for this week?
Yes.
Which we've called A Tale of Two Holidays. We've both been away, so we haven't caught up in a while. We have been texting a little bit, and we've both had very different trips. And because, The world's a crazy place right now. Both of us, I think, were touched by
Yes.
big world events.
Yes.
And it was interesting, and not expecting it, I think, either one of us. So yes, so we thought we'd just have a chat about those things and our experiences over the past while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you want to start, or do you want me to start?
So yeah, I mean, like, I went to Canada for a few weeks. I spent some time in the Rockies, spent a little bit of time in Calgary, spent about 4 or 5 days in Toronto.
And you were in in a van, right? Like a caravan?
I was in a camper van.
Ish.
It was like a converted, like a minivan that was converted essentially.
Were you pooping and peeing in a bucket?
No.
Okay.
So we stayed rather at like campsites a lot of the time.
That had facilities?
Yes.
Okay.
So there was definitely, thank God. I mean, like, I was ready to park at the side of the road and just use like chemical toilets and stuff, and we did do that once or twice, but that was enough. We were like, I think staying at campsites is inexpensive, and it means you have, like, you know, both a place to use the bathroom and also a place to shower, which is pretty important as well. So yeah, it was really great. I think. So before I talk about my trip in more detail, and I told Beth about this, and I think we should do this now because it was pertinent, and there'll be spoilers in me talking about my trip if I don't do this now. So
okay,
I have a quiz for Beth. It's kind of a quiz, and it's called Beth Martin's Canadian Critter Challenge.
Okay. Ooh, this is up in my wheelhouse. I was like,
Right?
What is it about? You're like, it's one of your specialties. And I was like, murder? You're like, I'll never tell.
I was going
to start like, they're never going to find your body, Andy. Because I know about flesh-eating beetles. Anyways, I'll stop the threats.
Okay.
Okay.
So here's the challenge.
Okay.
So we saw a shitload of critters when we were away. It was a good critter holiday. It was really freaking rad. I have a list of more than 10, so I'm going to see if you can maybe guess 10 of these. Here are the restrictions.
Okay.
And this may seem perverse and cruel, but there are no birds in this list.
Okay, that's okay.
Okay, just so you know. So I want to see how many out of this list you can get. I think some of them pretty easy. I think some of them are from the same species, I guess, or you know, similar.
Okay.
But yeah, would you like to start guessing? And I'm going to tell you yay or nay.
Okay. Just like guess randomly?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you see...
Maybe this isn't a good quiz.
No, this is fine. Okay, so I get like 10 guesses. Did you see a bear? Did you see a bear?
Yes.
Did you see a grizzly bear?
Ding. No, I saw a black bear.
Black bear? Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you see a moose?
No.
Ha.
We did not see a moose.
Did you see a wolf?
No.
Did you see a pika?
Yes. Whoa, that was the one I did not think you would get. I had never heard of a pika until we saw
They're
one.
so fucking cute.
Oh, so Beth, right? So Kitty, my partner, saw it and identified it. It was the last. It's a lagomorph, I think, that she hadn't seen in the wild before, and it like hopped on a rock and did like a wee squeak. Uh-huh. It was incredible. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
There's
the Planet Earth. I think it's Planet Earth season 2. They do a whole.
Is there a thing about pikas on that?
Yep. And I was like, that's literally the cutest animal I've ever seen. We don't have them on our side of this North America.
Oh really?
No.
They're little cuties. Like we were thrilled about that because it came after a particularly challenging hike, and yeah, it was pretty rad. So that's two of the big ones.
Okay.
I'm gonna say let's give you 5 more guesses and see how many you get.
Okay. No birds. Okay.
No birds.
Did you see deer?
Yes.
Did you see coyotes?
Yes.
Did you see beavers?
No.
Did you?
Say 2 more guesses.
Okay. Did you see? Okay, bodies of water. Did you see like mountain goats?
Yes.
Okay. Did
A
you
family of.
really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, that's cool.
That's so cool.
Like bighorn sheep?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Okay.
I've
Yes.
never. No, have I? Yeah, I've seen like California's version of bighorn sheep. I think that's my number of guesses, right? I did pretty
Yes,
good.
You did you did excellent there. So you got 6. Yeah, you got 6.
Okay, what
so
else?
we also saw like a lot of the things in the list are squirrel based, right? So we
Okay.
saw like ground squirrels,
Yes.
red squirrels, and black squirrels.
Yes, I've never seen a black squirrel.
They are huge. We saw chipmunks. Like, I think I sent you a picture of a chipmunk, like almost doing a sermon on a block of wood.
Yes, yes,
I believe.
yes.
Yeah. So like the chipmunks were, like everywhere in Canada, it's like do not feed the. Do not feed the animals, but clearly people are, because
They're
we
everywhere.
encountered a
'Cause they're
chipmunk,
like-
and the chipmunk was like getting on his hind
It's
legs
doing
and like
si-
begging me
right.
essentially for food.
He's like
and I'm like,
doing
bro,
sign language for feed me.
Yeah. We've got an amazing video I must send you of just this chipmunk basically on my foot going, please give me some food. We saw jackrabbit,
Oh, cool. They're big.
and we also saw a mountain cottontail.
Okay. Very good.
So Beth,
Yes.
right, that was exciting. But you ready for the bird bonus round?
Yes. This is so exciting.
So we saw, the reason why I excluded birds is because we saw a fuckload of birds, and one of the reasons why we were like, I was talking about eBird, and I was talking about like Merlin bird ID, and didn't want to kind of give the game away when you were talking about it earlier. We were like birding like mad. We had Merlin bird ID on all the time, because you're walking in forests and stuff, and you're hearing all these calls, and like we visually identified a ton of them as well. So I would say, like, this is not an exhaustive list, just because there's a lot of the birds that we saw and we were just like, I don't know what that is, or else we heard their calls and we didn't actually physically see them. So I'm gonna say 6 guesses for the birds, the highlight birds, the ones that we kind of like made a note of, and there are some fucking cool birds on here.
Okay.
So do you wanna so I'm gonna get 6 guesses
Okay.
for on my bird list.
Did you see an eagle?
Yes.
Okay.
And in the sky as we were driving, but we're fairly certain it was an eagle because it was fucking massive.
Yeah. It was probably like a golden eagle, maybe?
We think it might have been, we're not sure. But it had the white tail, which was the giveaway.
Red-tailed hawk?
No. Oh, I'm going to give you that because we did see some hawks.
Okay. Blue jays.
Yes.
Okay.
We saw a Stellar's jay.
Stellar jay? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I think I have those in the yard and they're eating the peanuts.
Nice.
Bird. Raven?
Yes, we did see ravens.
Okay. How many more guesses do I get? One more?
You've got 2 more guesses.
Okay. Crow?
Yeah, I'll give you a crow as
Thanks.
well.
They're different.
They are different. We definitely did see them both.
I'm gonna say like a cardinal.
Yes.
Was it a red cardinal?
Have you seen a cardinal before?
A red one?
Yeah.
They're more on the East Coast, so I like
Okay.
in Kentucky all the time. They don't exist here, which is really sad because they're so
can't
fucking
believe
crazy.
how bright.
Yeah.
They're really, and they like. We didn't hear them call. Our friend was talking. A Canadian friend who we met there was telling us like their crow was like a laser gun. I wish we'd heard it. It sounds fantastic.
Wow.
We also saw like a ton of like woodpeckers or flickers
Mm-hmm.
that they were called. We saw some nutcrackers. We saw some chickadees. Have you ever seen a
I
chickadee?
have seen a chickadee.
Oh, they're so adorable.
They are.
We saw like a loon. We saw
Oh yeah.
some sort of pheasant. We think. We saw American robin.
Okay.
And I've never seen, like, they're huge. Like, we saw a ton of them, and like robins in this country are tiny wee birds. American robins are like 4 times the size, or massive. Yeah. We saw some nutcrackers. There was like, we got to the top of a mountain and there's these nutcrackers like on trees next to us, I think, just shouting like at each other going, let's wait for these dumb mammals to drop their food so we can like get it all, and we saw some juncos.
Juncos. Okay.
Oh, the pheasant thing I was talking about was a spruce grouse.
A spruce grouse?
Yeah.
That's really hard to say. Whose idea
Isn't
was
it?
that? Spruce grouse.
Hey, I just looked it up. I have no idea. But yeah, so that was 6 for 6 in your bird bonus round.
Thank
so
you.
I think we can. I think you're the winner.
Well, obviously.
I mean, obviously.
I know. I was worried because I don't know many birds, but I guess I do know, like, the heavy hitters.
You know a lot of species, so and I think that's going to help and at least
really
narrow things down.
I'm smarter than I
This
thought.
is actually very true. Yeah. Very smart. But like we went, in Calgary, we went to a bird sighting. The coyote sighting, in particular, was nuts because it was like it was in a public park in Calgary, and I saw this thing moving, and I'm like,
they don't give a
big
fuck.
dog.
Yeah, they don't give a fuck.
And it was just like moving through the park, and like in the middle of the day, and I was like, shit, that's a coyote. That's definitely a coyote.
Yeah.
And the deer encounters we had were both super close up and unbelievable. Like both in Banff and in one of the campsites we were staying, we were just walking along, and there was this deer standing beside us eating, and then we were like we were being quiet, but we were making some noise, and it just squatted down and did a shit, and I was like, oh, this deer does not give a crap, literally.
Awesome.
We are here.
That means that it's like not been fucked with by humans too much, right? Or maybe it has. I don't know. And
the bear we saw was at the side of the road, which was super cool, and we got so close a couple of times. We were going to a thing in Banff, and we were told basically there was a black bear mama with her cubs in the car park, and we missed it by minutes, which we were gutted about.
That's okay.
But wonderful. And the bighorn sheep was just down the side of the road on our way into Radium Springs. Just incredible. So it's just like every time, just because it does not happen here, it is truly like, oh, wow. So
I mean,
absolutely wonderful.
I felt like that when I saw a real hedgehog on the side of the road in Ireland. I'm like, we don't have those here. They're so cute. You're like, yeah, they get hit by cars. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah. That's mostly the context you see hedgehogs these days, which really sucks, because they're cute little guys.
Yeah.
But yeah,
you did good.
So I sort of.
I love that you
did do good.
Noticed these things and made note, and wrote them down, and thought of me because I'm an animal fanatic.
I've got to give Katie a ton of credit here. She really I think we both talked about it, and then she made the effort to write them all down.
So good.
Because basically she didn't see the coyote quite as well as I did, and we were like, and I was like, it needs to go on the list. I need to put coyote on the list, But yeah, so I talked a lot there. So if you want to talk a little bit about your trip, and I can get into more detail with mine.
I just have a quick coyote story. The only thing I will catch and kill is a gopher. Anything else, it's and not for lack of effort of have a heart traps and trying to lure them out with peanut butter and whatever. But they live underground, and a gopher, you can break your ankle if you step in a gopher hole. So I fling them on the other side of the fence after I've killed them humanely and quickly. And hopefully painlessly. But, for anybody to have a quick snack. So I flung it on the other side of the fence the other day, and I went out later in the afternoon, and there's a fucking coyote standing. He was huge, standing right on the other side of the fence, just gulping down this dead gopher. So, yeah. Did not give a fuck that I was standing right there, waving at it.
So you were pretty close range to it. So I mean, it's. I mean, I saw it at a distance, and it looked it's a very big dog, right?
And it's kind of it looks like somewhere between a dog and a fox a little bit.
Yeah.
And they're light brown, but yeah, and I can smell their pee because they're we live in nature, so we'll be walking past a bush, and I'm like, oh my god, that's coyote piss. It smells so bad. And maybe that's the point.
Okay, interesting.
Smelly smells.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. Yeah.
Okay, so I had family visit from out of town.
Mm-hmm.
And we decided to go to Universal Studios Hollywood.
Okay. Okay.
which is in Los Angeles, which is
Uh-huh.
fun because we were there the same time that there were the protests and the National Guard was called in to California, Los Angeles area to fight with the
Uh-huh.
protesters. So that was a whole that was a vibe shift for being there in general and just like seeing all the cops and the Waymos. They stopped running them because people were lighting them on fire. Those are those
Oh, I
like
heard about this.
self-driving cars. Yeah. So it was definitely it was in a small area of Los Angeles. It wasn't like,
Okay.
everywhere. So like we were in the valley, but it was definitely like weird.
Was it? Did it affect in terms of like? Were you able to get Universal
We were
Studios and things like
fine.
that?
Yeah, we stayed in Hollywood, like in the valley in an Airbnb. So we were on the other
Mm-hmm.
side. Like we were, but it was like it affected like how we got around town and like avoiding downtown because they were
Sure.
outside of the Federal Ice Building. So that was just a
Is
weird.
it?
It's just a weird. It's Andy. It's so weird here right now.
It's a weird time to be alive, and yeah, it is. It's definitely weird. I mean, like everything I see from the US is extremely weird,
Yeah.
and
And we haven't, like,
yeah,
no one has called in the National Guard since, like, the Civil Rights Movement.
yeah.
So to do that over people, like, peacefully protesting immigration is kind of, like, I don't know, a little bit overkill, I think.
It's kind of weird the things that they call in reinforcements for.
Mm-hmm.
It really is.
Yeah.
Because there's no National Guard called for like the January 6th
Right.
insurrection attempts and things like that,
Right.
which seems like a much bigger thing and genuinely violent action going on
Yeah.
there. You know.
Yeah. So now
Yeah.
our governor is fighting, the governor of California is now fighting with the president, and it's just like they're talking. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how things go. But you know
Awesome.
what? We were a republic for like, I don't know, 2 weeks or something. That's why you see people wearing California Republic T-shirts.
Yes.
So we could always just secede and become our own country.
It's interesting how much chat I'm hearing about that because, like, I mean, not just in the US, but like when we were in Canada, I found out that both Alberta and Quebec have talked about leaving Canada.
Mm-hmm.
It hasn't happened, but it's both of them are having discussions about it,
Mm-hmm.
which I
Yeah.
find really kind of fascinating.
How interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, like I apparently Quebec had a vote like what a long time ago, 40 years or so ago, which a very by a small margin didn't pass, but really interesting. Um, but yeah, like the world events that like um affected our trip were that the G7 conference was being set up in Alberta as we were leaving.
Oh, wow.
So we went to various places and we're basically like, no, you're not getting these trailheads. Now this was right at the end of our trip, so we didn't really miss
Interesting.
much. But like there was such a big security effort going down to like lock down the place that they were actually meeting. But yeah, absolutely fascinating to kind of see the prep for that. As I say, it was still like 2 weeks out, but they were. Or was it like it would have been no, it'd been about a week out, but they were like really kind of setting the wheels in motion for what must be a big sort of security sort of effort. Um, the other thing, and again, we'll get on to some of the more fun stuff on our holidays in a second. But the other thing was that I heard I was glad to be out of the country for was there was rioting in Northern
There
Ireland as
was.
well, and
There was.
it made international
I know.
news.
I was like, hey, we're riding at the same time. I'm like, I'm glad we're not in the country. But it
Yeah,
did. It made the Drudge Report. I was like, holy shit. So.
yeah. The like it's just fully it's embarrassing shit, and it's the same shit that happened last time. Like I mean, one of the things that we're like chatting about and getting kind of annoyed about is it is very very thinly veiled racism. Basically it's like dressed up as we're protecting women and children, but it's not that. Like there have been so many, like not so many, but there have been like there's been a lot of stuff with like white men doing things, but they're never protested. But as soon as it's like uh, European folks,
Yeah.
then it becomes a whole
I saw,
thing.
because they're we had the No Kings protest on
Yes.
Saturday, the same day as the big Trump's birthday celebration with all and it was like the 250th anniversary of like the army existing.
Yeah.
I had a point. I lost it. What were you just saying?
So I was talking about the protests were
Oh,
against
yes,
or
yes.
unity of
So I
racism.
saw
Yeah.
a good one. It was a white guy holding a sign that said something along the lines of like, you know, it's bad if a white guy shows up at a protest and makes a sign.
Yes. It's true.
So,
Ay, ay, ay.
yeah,
But yeah.
interesting. Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but like it's and so much of it just in this country. I mean, so much of that because like what was really fucked was like there was loads of shit that happened. Basically, at one point, some of the affected families were moved to a leisure center, which is kind of like a YMCA, and then one of our ministers, a communities minister, no less, said, "Oh, they've moved the families to this place." Riders went there. They set the leisure center on fire.
Holy shit.
Crazy. Crazy, 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 crazy shit.
We also
So yeah,
had is it Minnesota, I think? We had two politicians that got murdered.
I heard about this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And our president has not addressed it at all because they were Democrats.
Of course.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Like how bipartisan has become is fucking wild.
It's just like
and
they're taking the humanity out of it, and
it's awful.
Yeah. So.
I mean, yeah, like yeah. Anyway.
So vacation.
It's vacations. Let's talk about vacations. Let's talk about fun things. Our escape from this shit.
Yes.
So yeah. So. I spent some time. So we spent some time in the Rockies.
What'd you think?
Oh,
Tap the Rockies. Did you drink all the
stunning.
Coors Light?
No, I was drinking Molson's all day long.
Right.
I had
Different
to,
country,
right?
different part of the Rockies. Yes, you did.
Exactly. So.
Sorry, I make everything about America.
Yeah, no, come on, Beth. It's Canada. We drink Molson up there. Molson's. So I also was drinking quite a bit of Pabst Blue Ribbon as well. Actually.
Yeah.
It was. Anyway, but it was really wonderful. We hired like that camper van I talked about at the start. It was really kind of awesome. As I set up for two people, it couldn't have been better. It was, I say, converted minivan, with a kind of fold out bed type thing that you could set up very quickly, and basically the boot had been, or the boot, sorry, the trunk,
boot,
the trunk had been converted into like a mobile kitchen essentially.
That's awesome.
With like a gas stove, like a top and everything, and it rocked. Like it was so good, so versatile, and like we were doing a lot of cooking and stuff there and making coffee. But like, see, just waking up every day and being surrounded by mountains on a scale that I am just not familiar with at all was just wonderful, and really kind of like I was truly sad when we actually left in the end, because it was just like, I don't know, it was just really beautiful to be surrounded by all that. I'm not getting choked out as much as I am windy, people at home.
It's fine. You're burping the burp I cannot burp. I have to burp so bad, but it won't come out. It's fine. You're just like rubbing it in my face.
That'll be the grand finale. But yeah, like, so, I mean, just a ton of hiking. We visited some hot springs. We, like, met some of Katie's friends there as well, went hiking with them. But it was just, like, as I say, tons of hiking, tons of, like, stays and campsites, and just kind of, like, spending time out in the road. And it was just, absolutely wonderful. I think that the like second half of our trip was really great too, but like I think both of us really kind of prefer the isolation that comes from hiking and being away, a bit further afield. Like even in some of the busier places like Lake Louise, which was like, it's a wee bit tourist trappy. Have you heard of Lake Louise?
I have heard of it. Yeah, I've never been, but
yeah. So like, initially when you go there, it's heaving with people, but like we went on a big hike that took us quite a bit further out of that, and it was like and it was great. Don't get me wrong. Initially, it was great. But it got so much better once we kind of hit, started climbing these trails, and like the crowds thinned out. Like it was just wonderful, and like we had such a fun time of year. I would say it definitely had its challenges, but because it hasn't fully thawed yet, there was a lot of snow, so we were like wearing like t-shirts, but going through big kind of like banks of snow in places. The hike we did that was part of Lake Louise is called the Big Beehive Trail, and you basically takes you up to this big viewpoint. And we came up one side, and it was very gradual, but it was quite steep, and it took a while, and it was like a tough hike, I must say. We got to the top, and we kept meeting people who come up the other way, and they were like, "Look, it's tough. It's no joke getting down. Just no joke getting up here. Basically, you will be scrabbling. You'll be on your hands and your knees at some point." And we were like, we're like, let's give it a go anyway. And it was rough. Like it was like basically the other side of the hill doesn't really get so much sun because of the way the valley's set up. The lake that we were looking down into was still frozen, so it was kind of a very sketchy kind of like and very slow descent down this mountain, but deeply satisfying once we got down there. And then we saw the Pika, and it made it all worthwhile.
That's so cool. And Banff, I've seen photos of the water there. It's like some of the bluest, clearest, most beautiful water.
I mean, like all the water there. I mean, like so there's a lot. We visited a lot of like parts of the river and waterfalls and things like that. So many waterfalls, and the water was either very clear or it had like a milky kind of texture because apparently it takes this it's called rock salt. I can't remember. I'm misremembering exactly. It kind of picks up this stuff like and it kind of colors the water for a while. But it's just like I say, Emerald Lake was stunning. Was green basically throughout. Lake Louise, milky blue. It's just and like surrounded by these stunning mountains. So yeah, just sensational.
That's wonderful. I'm so like happy that you got out in nature.
Me too.
And to I did not go to nature.
The next best thing.
I know. So we did like Venice Beach because we couldn't check into the Airbnb. So, and then we went to the Academy Museum. I did not see my friend. No, we didn't go that far down. Because my family member had knee surgery, so it was just kind of like, do as much as we can. Yeah. But went to the Academy Museum again, and they actually had, so they rotate exhibits, and they had a Barbie exhibit.
Nice. Oh, yes.
So I sent you a photo, the Corvette car. You got to sit in that, but it's basically like, it's the set, they did an exhibit on the set designers, whose names are, did I write it down? No, I did not write it down, but they did, Sarah Greenwood and Katie Spencer. Okay. So these two women work together. I don't know if they're a couple or not. It doesn't really matter, but they've had Oscar nominations for Pride and Prejudice, Atonement, Sherlock Holmes, Anna Karenina, Beauty and the Beast, Darkest Hour, and Barbie. So they had pieces of all of these different movies, and they also had like the vision board, like the model of Barbie world, right? That they like, let's create, like, how are we going to film it? What should it look like? They had so I got to see like actual shit from the actual movie, which was like way cool.
Wow.
Jaws is there. There's a zoetrope. Yep. I don't know if you saw that when you were there. It's so a zoetrope. It's like how do I explain? It's basically like it's claymation, and you make it in a big circle, and so then you turn the strobe light on, and you turn it really quickly, and it looks like all these things are like moving. Even though they're all separate pieces, it's pretty cool. So that was there. They had the two pianos from Casablanca, that like played
Ooh.
against Sam, and they're like way smaller than they look in the movie. So like I got to see that. So it was that was like a highlight.
They definitely didn't. I don't. I didn't. I think I'm thinking they might have had the zoetrope. Now you mentioned it. I was thinking about it,
For
looking at there, and I'm
yeah,
pretty certain they did. Um,
it's like
but the
base.
pianos are definitely new for me.
Yes, yeah. So they also had. I'm trying to remember. It's like a room that where they've got like just random shit from all the movies, right? It's got like
Okay.
Captain America's shield and like
Yep.
okay, so you saw that.
And like some of the aliens, like
Yep,
ships and things like that,
yep. One of
and
the like the evil
alien rather.
gremlin,
Yes.
Tars from Interstellar, like all that kind of
Hell
stuff. So
yeah.
I know. So
Fucking love
I
Tars.
I know
Um,
too.
they had some of the like Wes Anderson, like Fantastic Mr. Fox
They did that.
puppets when I
No,
was
that was
there. No,
gone.
okay, so
Yeah,
they maybe change things out.
I
Then
think they do.
they maybe rotate the stuff that's there. Um, no, that's awesome.
So
Okay,
yeah, it was
so
not
actually,
nature at all.
yeah, that's fine. It's still nice. It's still getting out there. Just still entertain yourself.
Right.
So, um, whenever we spent some time in. Actually, I'm going to start talk about something that was directly related to what you were talking about. We
Okay.
did go to one sort of event. We did went to two. We went to an aquarium, which was good, but it was a Saturday afternoon sort of experience. And the
Oh,
aquarium, it was just heaving
yes.
and just not super fun as a result. But it had some cool it had some cool creatures. But we also went to a place called Little Canada. Little Canada rocks so hard. It's like Little Canada is a little version of Canada. Is exactly what it sounds like. So there is like Little Toronto,
What?
there's Petit Quebec, there's Little Niagara, and what they have done is they have created this like just tiny version of like these places, and they're wonderfully detailed in ways that you're just like, why have you done this? And not only do they do that, they have a scavenger hunt. They've got somebody called Maurice the Moose, who's a moose with a Canadian flag on his side, and you got to find him in different areas. And then when you like marked, you find all the kind of Maurices, you get a sticker at the end of the visit. Also, because it was coming up to Father's Day, they did a dad joke special where they had dad jokes, and you had to find letters related to the dad jokes in the exhibit. But like, I can't tell you how. See, in terms of experiences like that, they can feel a bit clinical or whatever, but like the staff there loves it so much. They talk to you passionately about it. The workshop where they're working and stuff is open. There's two people sitting in the window, will talk to you about how they make stuff, why they made stuff. One of the ladies we talked to had a cow in a tree with fairy wings, and she started talking passionately about this cow. I can't remember the name of the cow. I wish I'd written this down, but she was like, she's a magical cow. She flies into trees. She produces strawberry milk, and I'm like, this rocks. And like, the exhibit is filled with like, it is very accurate in terms of like the layout of like buildings and things like that. But like, there's figures, crazy figures doing things. There are, for example, in Little Toronto, because Margaret Atwood is from Canada. There are some of the handmaids from the Handmaid's Tale in a section and things like that. There's like a cutaway of a hotel. Within the cutaway of the hotel, there is so many references to movies and video games and TV shows. There's like an Aliens one, a Minecraft one, and it's wonderful. You would love it
I'm
because it's
so
just
jealous.
right.
Yeah.
Like, and I think
And
like I
happy
think
for
the
you,
kids dig it.
obviously. But
Yeah, of course. I think the kids would dig it too because the scavenger hunt side of things I think is it's just wonderful, and it's just like, I don't know. It feels both because it's not massive, but like it is like a kind of exhibit or like almost like an art space, but because of like the people, it just felt way more like homely and kind of inviting, and it was just really incredible. And we did that on our last day, and it was such a perfect way to kind of end the trip.
that's amazing. I'm so jealous.
See?
Little Canada.
Yeah, so check it out. It's
I'm
worth the
gonna
trip.
totally Google it when we get off
Yeah,
here.
do.
Um.
Mm-hmm.
So, I got to go look at Little New York City, I guess. So we
Okay.
did
Oh.
we did the super VIP tour at Universal. I highly
Mhm.
it's expensive. But it's like once you factor in, so you get like you show up, you walk a red carpet. Like you get
Nice.
met in the secret room and they like usher you upstairs to the VIP lounge where there's like continental food, and then you get assigned a person. I never do this kind of stuff. I'm so cheap. Like I like didn't belong there at all. Uh so then the person like she was like, this morning we're gonna get on, I'll get you to the front of every ride, and then this afternoon we'll do a backlot tour where we'll actually get off. Like they have like the studio tour where you're on this like tram and they drive you around, but the VIP tour you actually get off the bus and they like you go into a sound studio. You go into so oh my god, it was so fun. It
Wow.
was like my dream day. Ah, I'm so excited to tell you about this.
Uh-huh.
So we like get to the front of every line, like so we went right to Mario Kart, because Charlie really wanted to do that, and it was just the craziest thing. They had like, and I didn't notice like these little like red velvet ropes in every on every ride, and she was like, okay, like come to the front, and like we would go. It's just like when there's an hour and a half wait to get onto Hogwarts, right?
Yeah.
Um, and someone's just like, no, here's the secret door. Come in. I'm like, this is how rich people live. This is amazing. It was amazing. So we got on all the rides. We did all the rides. And then we got ushered into this like secret room. And it's the VIP lunch area where they have this like beautiful buffet of like all this amazing food. And, and then we got onto this like bus that drove us down to the lot, because like Universal, of course, they're smart and they built this entire thing on a hill, so you're like it's a big fucking hill. Anyways, so
Interesting.
we got to go. I got to go into a soundstage, so that's where
Uh-huh.
they film movies in those things, and like it was a blank one, nothing was in it, but it was just so cool to be in one. I peed in the backlot bathrooms, and I was like,
Nice.
"This is." I'm like, they're like, "Okay, we're gonna stop, and you can get off the bus and use the restrooms." And I was like, "Of course, I work here. Like, I belong. I made it right. If I'm able to use the
It's,
bathrooms in the backlot." Um,
wow.
then we got to go into. They have like a whole. It's like I don't know. It's the size of a city block, but it's where you can rent anything. So like streetlights, they change out the streetlights. So they
Uh-huh.
have like this whole area. They have like little Mexico. They've got like little Europe, little New York, and they like all the movies get filmed there.
Oh, interesting.
So
Okay.
so we got to get off and like walk around in the street. So like I'll send you some photos. But it's like me and her, but we're in New York City, but we're not, and it's the weirdest thing. And so she's like, our tour guide was like, yeah, we've got, if it's New York in the 1940s, those are different lights. We can run gas, we can run electrical. She's like, but you got to check. She's like, you can rent dirt. They're dirt renters, right?
Wow.
Um, if you want to like cobblestones, they can do that. So then we got to go into um, the costume and set uh, library, essentially, where it's like, I don't
Mm-hmm.
know, like 8 stories, and they have everything. They have like different versions of the White House Oval Office, right? All the
Ooh.
different desks that you would use. So and they have barcodes, and you can rent them. Anybody can. See, anybody can rent a sound studio at Universal. People have done it for like weddings and stuff. So if you ever
Wow.
want to get married, I'm just saying, if you've got
Okay.
$50,000 to kick around, you can rent
fifty
your own.
thousand dollars.
I know, right? Um, so so that was super cool. Highly recommend it. And then yeah, it
That
was
sounds
like
great.
it was so cool. It was like a 2.5 hour backlot tour. Um, and then they've got, I don't know if you remember the Tom Cruise War of the World. There's like a
Yes.
plane that goes down.
I have seen that set. I think it's in on the popular version of this tour.
It
We
is.
definitely drove past
Yes.
this. Yes,
We got
yeah,
off.
yeah.
We got to go off.
Ooh, you gotta go in.
Yes. And like touch things
Hell yeah.
and like
Yeah.
so you have all these photos of like Harper standing outside. So basically Steven Spielberg, it's like a I don't even know. It's a I don't know what type of plane. It's a big fucking airplane, and
It's a big like 737,
it's
747, something like that.
747,
It is, yeah.
and but it doesn't have a roof, and so you see all like, the seats, and that was because they had to cut the roof off of it because the whole plane wouldn't fit under the overpasses on the freeway, right?
Wow.
So they designed this whole like airplane neighborhood on fire, and so yeah, I have all these like photos of the kids like standing in front of these like downed airplane. It's so fucking cool.
That rocks.
Yeah.
As you're doing this, are there other people coming by on tours?
Yes.
Seeing you guys
Yes.
in there?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. And they're like, our tour guides like, they don't know you're not famous. Just wave like you know what you're doing,
Yeah.
right?
It's true.
Because there were like 12 of us. So yeah. So it was like that kind of stuff. We got to get off of the bus and like look at stuff and so anyways, I highly recommend it. If anybody goes to Universal, pay the extra money, become a VIP, and because like once you get the fast pass and like you're eating, it's like it's worth the money.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah, because once you do pay for those extra things, it becomes a very expensive day anyway.
Yes. So yeah, Little New York to go along with Little Canada.
It's good. Some good little action we've been getting. I love it. So yeah, so the two things that changed my life in Canada completely. I mean, like, it was an incredible experience overall, but two things changed my life. A, extremely cheap weed gummies. Like $5 will buy you 10 milligrams of like gummies, and like they were just absolutely fantastic. And it was, I think that's even cheaper than you guys.
Yeah,
it's so inexpensive.
Yeah.
So like after being on the wagon, and I've talked about this on the pod before. Like if I was hoping to get back into, if I'm ever hoping to get back into taking weed, my hope was that I would be able to take edibles. So we thought we'll pick some up in Canada. We saw a place called Mount Hushmore, and we're like, we have to stop here, and we got weed there. But like, it is everywhere. There are shops everywhere, and it was absolutely fantastic. Anyway, that's number one.
Yay!
Number two are dill pickle chips. Now, I don't think you have them in the US, right? We do.
I saw them at the dentist's office like last week, and I was like, okay, what are those? And she's like, they're dill pickle chips. And I'm like, are they good? She's like, yes, you can get them at this gas station. I was like, okay.
They fucking rock.
Okay,
get on those.
I knew it.
They are. We were just like, we got a bag. We tried a few different things because like Canada have some distinct flavors of their own. Yep. They have dill pickle. They have like all dressed. They have ketchup, I think, is a very sort of Canadian flavor as well.
Which is...
we were interested in the ketchup. The ketchup were fine. All dressed were actually pretty good, but the dill pickles are fucking excellent. So, like, yeah, get on dill pickle chips
on it.
ASAP.
On it.
Changed my life.
Okay.
So, wanted to talk just a little bit more about Toronto, and then I'll kind of mostly wrapped up. So, when we were in Toronto, we toured the city a little bit. It's a cool city, and it's it's busy, but it didn't feel quite as hectic as other sort of, some of the other North American cities I've been to, and like, I think cities aren't friendly places generally, but it didn't feel as unfriendly as some of the other like city experiences that I've had, which I really loved a lot. But we also got to Niagara Falls as well.
I was gonna ask.
Yeah.
I've never been.
So we met. I have a good friend of mine lives there, and he was like, if you're coming, I'll take you to Niagara Falls. I was like, okay. So it was like, they were pretty spectacular, but like, I think it was a bit of a, they're so famous and they're so well known. It's like the Grand Canyon. Like, it was my Grand Canyon experience was like, initially blown away, and then afterwards you're like, okay, and you're like, yeah. And like, what I didn't realize about Niagara Falls was that it's essentially become like a Las Vegas style party
Okay.
town, you know, and there's like casinos and there's all sorts of like crazy shit, and there's like, you know, all, you know, really gimmicky restaurants, and apparently it's a place a lot of people come and do like uh, um stag parties, hen parties, things
I
like
had
that.
no idea. I know people get married there,
Yeah.
and that people used to go over in barrels. That's what I know.
Yes, exactly.
So I just assumed
But yeah,
that's what it was still like.
yeah. I think that I had thought, like, I don't know why, I think I thought it was almost like a full circle of waterfall, and it isn't really. It's only about like I would say about a half circle maybe, and like there are some other kind of falls a bit further on down, but like again, is an incredible. You know, seeing it was since insane, and also like, you know, the like as soon as you got there, you were feeling spray in the air because there was so much rushing water coming down the whole time. You know, the whole, I guess the whole place is just filled with that the whole time. But yeah, really, really fantastic. And let's say Toronto, in our very brief experience with it, was like a really wonderful city to explore as well. Really great vegan food too, I must say.
Hmm.
So
Are
yeah.
you e-
Um,
are you a vegan?
no, I am vegetarian for the most part these days with a bit of fish
Pescatarian.
and pescatarian, yeah, and I so like it was good from that point of view, but my girlfriend is, so like we have vegan a lot of the time, which I have no zero problems with, because like it's basically one of the places we went to was like a vegan soul food restaurant, and it was just like
Ooh.
vegan Philadelphia cheesesteak, vegan poutine, vegan like Reuben sandwiches and things like that were just absolutely
Yum.
fantastic. So it was really awesome.
Yeah. Like I appreciate that you can pretty much find, someone that's created something like a vegan Reuben. Amazing.
Yeah, that's absolutely. So just yeah, all in all, like wonderful trip, and yeah, I was ruining the day that I had to come back home. But
Yeah.
I think another trip. Actually, while we were flying, whenever we were flying over to, we actually flew into Hamilton, which is like basically right beside Toronto. I mean, like they're part of a large, big, massive city. It was a lot cheaper to fly through there, and it was the inaugural flight with the of that company that was doing it. So we all got like $150 dollar voucher to spend on a flight within the next year. So it's like, oh,
That's
maybe we'll go back to
cool. I was gonna
Canada
say,
within the next year.
yeah, would you go back and visit?
Absolutely. I mean, like I
Yeah.
loved, like I really had such a nice time,
I'm so
and
glad.
yeah, I would go back in a heartbeat. Yeah, I'm so glad I finally made it out there, and it fully lived up to my expectations, and I felt like I really only scratched the surface of it.
Yeah. Can I tell you the worst thing that happened?
Yep.
Harper and I got stuck on the Hogwarts ride for like 30 minutes.
Oh no.
Yeah.
How
In the
did that
dark.
go for
Uh,
both of you?
you know, she was terrified. It's like I've
Yeah.
been stuck on rides before. I got stuck on the Ferris
Yeah.
wheel at the very top for like, a half hour. So I was like,
Yeah.
also it's like when you're trying to calm someone down, you become calmer.
Yep.
But we were definitely, there. And there was like this recorded voice that was like, we're having, because it's British, right? So we're having
Yeah.
difficulties. But apparently someone, it's weird. Like when you get on the ride, it's like, it's, there's two, I don't know how to explain this. It's like, it's one of the people mover thingies. It's not an escalator. It's
Oh.
flat.
Yep. Yep. I know what you mean.
So
Travelator
one is
or
going one way and one is going the other way, and you got to kind of like
yep.
navigate that to get on the ride, get in the seat. So someone fell and like so they shut the ride down, and they had to do like
I see.
bad, but because someone was doing like biohazard cleanup. So
Oh God.
I know. So I hope the person is okay. But,
Yeah, me too.
so
What
yeah.
a
So
nightmare.
now I've been stuck
I,
on. I've spent a lot of time at Hogwarts. I'll just say.
I got stuck in a Star Wars ride last time I
That's
was out
right.
there as
That's
well.
right.
I never got to ride that bloody thing.
No.
Um, okay, so do you have anything else you want to talk about before we wrap things
Um,
up?
I it was nice being in the same time zone as you.
Yeah, it's true.
I was like, you were texting me at the same time I was awake, and I was like, what the fuck?
What's going on here? I know, it's so true. I know, it was nice actually. Yeah. And it was actually because, like, a variety of American people I'm texting,
yeah.
and it was just weird getting real-time responses, and they're like, where are you? And
I'm
like,
know.
are you, again, not far. Well, I mean, like, I am far, but, not far considering.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah.
Travel, good.
Cool, love it.
Yep.
Travel good.
Travel good.
Everybody, travel good.
Travel good.
I love it. Okay, so in that case, Beth, I'd like to ask you what's been bringing you joy this week.
So in the costume and set studio that we went in, I saw the coolest thing. It was the chair from Gladiator 1 that the Emperor would sit in, right? And, thumb up, thumb down.
Thumb down, yeah.
But they had E.T. sitting on the throne. And I was like,
love it.
We weren't allowed to take pictures because it was interesting. Like, a lot of the boxes, like, were labeled with, like, movies that, or the items were tagged for movies that are going to be being made. So, like, I know that this chair is going to be, made and put in this movie kind of thing.
I see.
But they don't want other people to, like, know that information.
That makes sense.
But yeah, I saw E.T. sitting on the Gladiator throne, and that was fucking cool, and it brought me so much joy. And I was like, I wish I could take a picture of this perfection.
So, E.T. 2 sequel coming this way, folks.
Right.
What's this space?
I know. Watch it. I don't know.
He's an emperor now.
I guess.
Okay. Love it. So mine, and it's kind of on theme, is because, like, I wasn't super excited to be coming back home.
Yeah.
But the one reason I was happy to come home is I got to see Sasha.
I was gonna say, how's your dog?
Always nice to see your dog on return home. Or, pets generally. Pets rule.
Did she miss
always
you?
Bring me joy. She did miss me,
Good.
yeah. I think I've told you before, she used to, like, be upset with me and huff with me, like, not be near me for, like, a week or so, but now she's just like, you're back, hooray! So, yeah.
Good.
So, it was great.
Good.
So, yeah. Pets rule.
They do.
Sasha rules.
She does.
All pets rule.
It's true.
But, yeah. So, great. All right, in that case, Beth, could you tell everybody where they can find us?
You can find us at bendypodcast.com.
Hell yeah.
And maybe I'll throw up some photos of that fucking cool airplane.
Oh yeah, do. I should maybe send you some photos too. Actually,
Yeah.
I need to sort that out.
It's okay.
But yeah, that would be good.
Yeah.
All right, folks. In that case, as always, we like to remind you to stay bendy. Ooh, special jet lag edition.
Yeah, man. You did good. I'm proud of you.
Thanks.
Now are you going to go to bed?
Yeah, maybe. I may go to the movies instead.
Nutter.
All right, bye. We love you.
Bye.